It's that time of the year again. If you don't already know, every October on this channel, I make a recap video of all of the new information that we have received in the past year about Concernedape's work in progress game, Haunted Chocolatier. This will be the third recap video in the series, and boy oh boy has my channel come a long way since I posted the first one 2 years ago. In the past 2 videos, we had a ton of new information about the game to talk about, but this year, unfortunately, not so much. With Concernedape taking an extended break from developing Haunted Chocolatier to work on the major Stardew Valley 1.6 update, new information on the game has been far and few between. But there have been a few hidden moments of Concernedape mentioning little tidbits of information about Haunted Chocolatier here and there. You kind of just have to be really in the scene or in the know to know about it. So I'm your chronically online Concernedape obsessed fan at your service. While we do have some new information about Haunted Chocolatier, this would be a very short video if we just talked about new information. So to make things a little bit more exciting, I've also compiled some interesting fan theories about Haunted Chocolatier from the Stardew Valley community to share with you all. And if you're not caught up on my previous 2 videos in this series, do not fret. You don't have to have watched those ones to watch this one first, but feel free to check them out afterwards. Let's start off with all of the new information in chronological order that we have about Haunted Chocolatier straight from the source, Concernedape, since my last video in 2023. In an interview conducted by George Yang for IGN, all the way back to October 31st, 2023, Yang sat down with Barone, aka Concernedape, to talk about curating the Stardew Valley concert tour's set list, the challenges of coordinating a live orchestral production, who he'd like to handle a hypothetical Stardew Valley film adaptation, and what to expect from Haunted Chocolatier's music score. In this interview, Yang writes, "As for what's next for Barone, he's currently working on his next game, Haunted Chocolatier. It was first officially revealed in 2021 and currently does not have a release date. Compared to Stardew Valley's more country-laden soundtrack, Haunted Chocolatier's music will be more magical and ethereal. While he's going to have more synthesizers and electronic elements, he clarified that the soundtrack is not an EDM playlist. We have heard some glimpses into these more electronic sounds in the songs that he has shared so far, and let me tell you, the songs that we've heard so far are straight bangers." George Yang continued on saying, "With Stardew Valley, Barone said that he constrained himself because he was trying to fit a certain theme, the traditional Harvest Moon kind of atmosphere, which typically has a very peaceful and lighthearted soundtrack. But with Haunted Chocolatier, he'll compose more naturally without any limits." Barone said that his biggest musical influence came from the 90s with games like Chrono Cross and Final Fantasy. Back in the 2010s, when Stardew Valley was in development, that sound became popular again. He noted that there's always a 20-year cycle when it comes to trends, and now Y2K trends are on the up. He expects that PS2 era nostalgia will be the next on the retro train. Barone explained that kids are impressionable when they play certain games, and when they grow up to be young adults, they have nostalgia for what they loved as kids. They're at the age where they're creating stuff, he said. They're the creators now, and they're dipping into that nostalgia of their own, so there will always be this 20-year element. And when asked about a potential release window for Haunted Chocolatier in 2024 or 2025, Barone smiled and said, "It's still gonna be a while. I won't say." So yeah, anyone who tells you that Haunted Chocolatier will be releasing in 2025 or whatever, they are straight pulling that shit out their ass. The next time that Concernedape sort of offhandedly mentioned Haunted Chocolatier in the past year was on March 13th, 2024. Under the replies of this post talking about a new quality of life patch for the Stardew Valley 1.6 update pre-release. During this time, Concernedape was tweeting sneak peek patch notes about the update leading up to its PC release on March 19th. The original tweet states, "Ever notice that swinging the sword downward puts you at a big disadvantage? It's always bugged me, but I had tuned it that way so that the area of effect would match the visual. For 1.6, I decided that the game feel is way more important than precise visual accuracy." And the patch note said that it extended the area of effect of downward facing melee attacks. And someone in the replies asked, "Did you have the same issue in Haunted Chocolatier, and that's why you changed this after all this time? Or are the swords just visually bigger in Haunted Chocolatier so you never had this problem here?" To which Concernedape said, "For Haunted Chocolatier, I had this in mind from the beginning, and drew the player animations in a way that should match the hitboxes better. And I'm being way more deliberate about making sure each direction you face is equally viable. But yeah, I think it did cause me to rethink Stardew's." Concernedape has said in the past that he's putting a big emphasis on combat in Haunted Chocolatier, stating that it's going to be like the Stardew Valley mines, but much more fleshed out, executed really well, and sprinkled throughout the whole game. So he knows that if combat is going to be such a large part of the game, it has to be a little more exciting and intuitive than just rapidly clicking to swing a sword. So I'm very excited to see how the combat in Haunted Chocolatier differs from Stardew Valley's. We've already seen that there's going to be a bow and arrow weapon present, which I'm very eager to use, because as a combat scaredy cat, I much prefer combat at a distance than up close melee attacks. And after that tweet about combat in Haunted Chocolatier, Concernedape went radio silent on anything Haunted Chocolatier related, until August 28th, 2024, where he mentioned it in another offhanded tweet. In this tweet, he's talking about how the mobile and console ports of the Stardew Valley 1.6 update have taken so long. And this tweet clarifies why there have been so few updates about Haunted Chocolatier at all over the past year. In the tweet, Concernedape said, "Console and mobile ports are still in progress. I acknowledge that they are taking a long time. There are reasons for this, but the bottom line is that they are not out yet. We are still working on them, and they have been our primary focus since 1.6 came out for PC. It would be a huge relief to me if they were ready today, but they aren't. So all we can do is continue working on them until they are ready. I have not touched Haunted Chocolatier in a long time because I'm committed to finalizing Stardew 1.6 first. And ever since then, we have had 0 updates on any progress that has to do with Haunted Chocolatier." But now that we do have an official release date for the Stardew Valley 1.6 update on console and mobile ports, November 4th, hopefully Concernedape can get back to work on developing Haunted Chocolatier very, very soon. Haunted Chocolatier has been in development for, I believe, approximately 4 years now, so I'm sure he needed a little break. And now that he got a long break, probably longer than anticipated, I hope that he feels reinvigorated and excited to get back to developing Haunted Chocolatier, and that all the creative juices are flowing. Sometimes it's best to just take a big step back from a passion project because it's really easy to get tunnel vision and burn yourself out creatively. So I'm really glad Concernedape was able to do that, even if it means we won't be getting the game as soon as we may have expected a year or so ago. So here's to hoping that the next annual Haunted Chocolatier video on my channel will be jam-packed with new information. And now that we've covered all of the new factual information about Haunted Chocolatier, let's have some fun and talk about some of the speculatory fan theories that have been circulating about the game over the past year. All of these theories were found mostly on the Haunted Chocolatier subreddit and sometimes on the Stardew Valley subreddit. Let's get into it. This theory by user Princess Poopy Bum on the Haunted Chocolatier subreddit focuses on the mysterious Arctic Shard item in Stardew Valley. If you don't know, there's a late game Ginger Island quest where you have to give random items to specific villagers. And one of those items is an Arctic Shard that, quote, glows with an otherworldly blue light. And this item needs to be given to the wizard. The theory goes, so we know about this Arctic Shard, right? Well, I'm watching someone play Stardew for the first time and noticed some dialogue that might hint at the connection between Haunted Chocolatier and Stardew Valley. When doing the Pirate's Wife quest, after giving the TV remote to George, he gives you the Arctic Shard and says, "It's glowed blue and stayed cold for over 40 years, like magic." Immediately, I was reminded that Haunted Chocolatier also seems to be in a perpetual winter, right? Could there be someone or something using Arctic Shards to keep the town so cold? Another possibility, if that theory has any truth to it, is that maybe one of our goals in Haunted Chocolatier will be to bring seasons back to the town. Maybe these ghosts that are helping us are trapped in the town because of the Arctic Shard's magic or the cold, and eventually our goal could be to liberate them. Kind of like how Grandpa comes back in year 3 and says that his spirit is finally put to rest if you get all 4 candles lit. Just a thought I had while reading over the dialogue again. Concernedape did say that there is some connection between the games, right? And yes, Concernedape has confirmed that the games will be loosely connected. I feel like this would be a really cool subtle connection between the 2 games. The Arctic Shard is not a super well-known item in Stardew Valley, so it would be a great subtle little Easter egg to bring the 2 worlds together. This next short but sweet theory has to do with the infamous B-Boss. If you are not already aware, 2 years ago, Concernedape posted bboss.og to his YouTube channel featuring a still image of what we can infer to be a boss battle with a giant bee enemy, alongside this absolute banger of a track.
Listen to this track, bitch!
I just know Concernedape knew he popped off with this one 2 years ago and was like, I gotta show these bitches what I just made immediately. Like the way that the instruments sound like buzzing bees, bro literally cooked. But anyways, this theory about B-Boss was posted by user Katie Pie on Haunted Chocolatier subreddit saying, I hope the bosses from the boss battles become NPCs. Like imagine the B-Boss from the YouTube song showcased on Concernedape's channel is like a normal NPC, maybe selling honey. And I think that would be such a fun little idea. Sort of like how some bosses in in Rune Factory 4 become NPCs that live in town or become possible love interests. Or even instead of becoming townies, the bosses could become those little ghosts that help you operate your chocolate shop, and that's how you recruit more little ghosties. Kind of dark if you think about it. Killing them and then dooming them to work for you forever in the afterlife. Damn. But hey, they're probably super evil in their boss form anyways, right? These next two theories focus on the elusive Castle Village and the Godoro Empire. Castle Village is a location in Stardew Valley's geography that is only mentioned in passing in the vanilla game. For example, the earmuffs hat item description says, "Keep your ears toasty, lined with artisanal velvet from Castle Village." But its exact location is never mentioned. And the Godoro Empire is a nation at war with the Ferngale Republic, the nation in which Stardew Valley is located. The Godoro Empire is located across the Gem Sea, south of Stardew Valley, and the traveling cart contains goods smuggled out of the Godoro Empire. User Daward left a comment on a Stardew Valley subreddit post saying, "Calling it now, Castle Village is where Haunted Chocolatier will take place." They didn't provide any substantial proof for this, but by the looks of this beautiful castle-looking building and Haunted Chocolatier artwork that we've seen, it would make sense for it to be in Castle Village, maybe. Another user by the name of ThickPiano7801 posed the question, "Will Haunted Chocolatier be in the Ferngale Republic or the Godoro Empire?" To which user Mince1000 responded saying, "It would make sense for it to be in the same universe as Stardew Valley, as Concernedape loves to put references. I think it's going to be in the Godoro Empire because it lets Concernedape make references to the war, and could show the other side of the story. It could be in a different nation entirely so that it's not too connected. It depends on how connected Concernedape wants the game to be to Stardew Valley. I'm personally hoping it's in the Godoro Empire as it adds the most to the lore and setting of the universe. Stardew Valley is basically a normal universe with some magic bits. Haunted Chocolatier is more magical by the looks of it. Plus, we know Concernedape loves references, so he will most likely have it in the same universe and make some references to Stardew Valley. Plus, there's already some references to star drops in the trailer and screenshots, so that makes me think it's in the same universe to a noticeable degree. Personally, I think it would be super cool to have Haunted Chocolatier take place in the Godoro Empire, and maybe even have the traveling merchant and her big old pig live there, since that's where she travels from in the Stardew Valley universe. She could maybe have a standing shop in town, or even be a full-on NPC so that we could get to know her story and lore better. This next theory isn't really a theory per se, more like hopes and desires, but it's still a fun topic to talk about nonetheless. I found two posts in the Haunted Chocolatier subreddit discussing what features you hope to see return in Haunted Chocolatier from Stardew Valley. So let's look at some of the responses. For me, I'd say some mildly deep lore connecting to Stardew Valley, and I really hope fishing returns. It doesn't matter what the full game is, if you just copy and paste as fishing, I'll be there 100%. It's one of my fave things in Stardew Valley, and it'd be a good way to flesh out the game. I hope for another perfection tracker. Stardew's the only game I've ever tried for 100% because it's so enjoyable, and I imagine Haunted Chocolatier will be the same in that sense. Also, if kids are added, I'd like them to be more useful and less like a decoration. I would love hard events for Haunted Chocolatier. It's one of my favorite aspects in Stardew Valley. It would be amazing to have a whole new game and cast of characters to get to know. I hope to see more of the Adventurers Guild with the increase of combat-related jargon in Haunted Chocolatier. I expect for at least the Adventurers Guild to come back in the basics. You know, sell items, get new weapons, rewards for killing X amount of monsters. I'd also like help wanted quests and special orders. Again, for the NPCs to make it feel a bit more alive. Some sort of person to upgrade buildings, like the mansion or possible extensions, can be upgraded just like in the house in Stardew. Finally, skill levels would be cool to see again. Maybe not the main 5, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'm hoping for multiplayer. I know it is not planned for the initial release, but hoping others will agree and Concernedape will see how important a feature this is in Stardew Valley for so many of us. I want to see a combat difficulty setting for the boss fights. This would allow those that are terrible at combat or stressed out by it to also enjoy the game. There could also be a more difficult setting for those that enjoy a challenge. Let me romance a ghost. I want a non-binary gender option, and or the ability to choose a character sprite and pronouns separately. Not a huge change work-wise, but it makes me feel like I can make my character so much more like me. As for a feature that I would love to see return, I really hope that there are still mining caves throughout the world to collect ore ores and loot for treasures. I've said it time and time again here on my channel, but mining is literally my favorite thing to do in Stardew Valley, and I would love to see new interpretations of the mines for this new universe. The caves could have new kinds of magical ores or gems or crystals, completely new biomes, new enemies, maybe even some familiar enemies, new mining music, new NPCs, sort of like the dwarf, or maybe even just straight up have the dwarves in these mines too. I just truly yearn for the mines, and I would be a little sad if it was not a feature brought over to Haunted Chocolatier. But please let me know in the comments what Stardew Valley features you would love to see return in Haunted Chocolatier, or if you have any lore theories about Haunted Chocolatier that you would like to share. Again, if you have not seen my first 2 videos in this annual deep dive series, feel free to check those out so that you are all caught up on everything we know about Haunted Chocolatier so far. And here's to hoping for lots of new updates on Haunted Chocolatier in the coming year. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.